frosty New England. Get you a nice sweater. This is Patriots.
The Jason Tatum sweater.
Oh, there you go.
We got those ones.
The audience doesn't know what we're talking about. It's a football Monday in December. Lock in, man.
Well, stop banging the table. Distract.
We do that every show.
First hour, first things first.
Lock in.
All right, is Buffalo officially the best team in the NFL?
So this is an awkward spot because I know the audience is kind of used to me doing Lucy with the football to Charlie Brown to the Bills. Build them up just to tear them down. But that's not who I've been this year for them.
No, you're a Bills guy.
I'm a Bill. I believed this team was an excellent team going into the year. Said a couple months ago that I thought the two best teams in football were the Chiefs and the Bills. And I'll sit here and tell you right now, I think the real Super Bowl this year is going to be played at an Arrowhead in late January between these two teams, the Chiefs and the Bills. And let me pay the Bills one more compliment. And it's a massive compliment.
Oh.
They remind me of what might be my favorite football team ever. The team that I got the most joy watching. The 2018 Chiefs. A team that came into the year without sky-high expectations, seemingly scored 30 points every single week, had their quarterback win MVP, and it was the first MVP for that quarterback. In fact, it was the first quarterback in the franchise's history to win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And that team then was everyone's favorite to go to and win the Super Bowl until, of course, in the AFC Championship game, they ran into a seemingly wobbly, on its last legs dynasty trying to go to its third straight Super Bowl, the New England Patriots. So I'm going to drop a banner for the Bills to give them credit because they are the 2018 Chiefs. They are the fun team, the hot team. They have the quarterback that's playing at the highest level, and they are the most fun to watch on a week-to-week basis. Now, sadly for them, I think they are going to have very similar experience the 2018 Chiefs did, which is you run into a team that can win any type of game, and that still has a lot of greatness left. But I'm not here to talk down about the Bills because I've been talking up about the Bills all year, and they just had their best offensive game of the season, and Josh is playing the best football of his career.
I don't know how Bills fans are going to like that.
Well,
as much as you tried to make it nice. I will say this to your point. Officially, because I don't know why we have officially up there. Because officially, it's the Chiefs. I mean, after this Super Bowl, if another team wins it, they'll officially be the best.
Okay.
But officially, it's the Super Bowl champion.
Unofficially?
And they're two-time defending. Unofficially, I like a lot about them, obviously. I don't think they're like the 2018. That team had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, guys who had already
more
established
offensive
themselves
talent, for
as
sure.
great stars. What the Bills are is the greatest one-man show in the NFL I've seen in a while. Like, Josh Allen, it almost looks like some great high school player that's just better than everybody. Because they don't have a ton of names, if you will, around any other, whether it's on defense or on offense. This guy is just phenomenal. But as far as the best team in the NFL, it was just a week ago. They got beat by an 8-6 Rams team.
Good point.
But so that's
they're 2-3 against playoff teams that would be in the playoffs right now. So I like them a lot, and they are dangerous. They're better than I thought. I thought they'd make the playoffs. I did not think they'd be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. But right now, if you ask me to pick who I think right now is playing the best football in the NFL, it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Because they do it on both sides.
Well,
the Eagles have obviously a better run game with Saquon Barkley. They got better receivers. Now, obviously, Jalen Hurts is not Josh Allen, but Hurts is a quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl and played great in that Super Bowl. And defensively, here's the difference. This is why I'm going with Philadelphia right now. Look at the ranks. I mean, the best defense in the league, arguably, and Buffalo's is middling.
So I want to talk about the Bills' defense just for a minute because we are going to, in a few minutes, talk about has the Lions' defense passed the point of no return as far as injuries go. And they've allowed 79 points, the Lions have in their last two games. Well, the Bills have allowed 86
Yeah.
in their last 2 games. There is only one Super Bowl champion ever that has ever allowed, and we can show it, I think, the worst 2-game stretches of Super Bowl champions. The 2011 Giants are the only one that had, you know what I mean, a worse 2-game stretch.
And both of those teams kind of.
I don't want to say out of nowhere, but kind of. It's certainly odd.
You didn't see them coming.
Right, certainly odd Super Bowls. And a lot of the lists the Bills are finding themselves on are great lists, but not champion lists. Like, they've now just became the 5th team ever to score 30 or more in 8 straight games. The other 4 teams are teams we all remember. 2 made the Super Bowl and lost, and 2 didn't even get there. The 2013 Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning. Yep. The 2010 New England Patriots, who lost to the Jets instead of getting to the Super Bowl. The 2007 New England Patriots, who lost famously to that team. And the 2000 Rams, which was, they won it in 99, they lost the Pats in 01. That was the year they lost in the, to the Bucks, I believe, in the conference championship game. It might not have been the Bucks, doesn't matter. So there is that piece of it, and people should be used to, Wilds, the Bills being hot at the end of the year. That's the other piece of it that I do think we have a little recency, not even recency bias. We just act like this is new. Josh, since he's been a great player, look at those regular season records. You know, once the calendar turns to December, the touchdowns are insane, and they have gone into the playoffs the last 4 years on winning streaks of 6, 4, 7, 5. This year it's only at 1, but with Patriots, Jets, Patriots left, people think it'll be 4. And so, again, I'm not saying they can't do it, but a lot of what we're seeing from them has, to me, the specter over the defense looming over it without anything brand new we haven't seen from them before to compensate for it.
I'm with you, because they've won 13 games in seasons. And the year they struggled with Miami when Tua was hurt and then got beat by Cincinnati at home. So you're right, like, how they play in the playoffs often doesn't.
That year they had won 7 straight going into that Miami game.
This team looks and feels differently, though. So here's the thing I was shocked by. Last 4 games, 1 turnover, which we know Josh has prioritized not turning the ball over. 0 sacks. So the fact that he can get back there, if you try to get to him, he's out of the pocket. But 0 sacks in 4 games.
He doesn't get sacked.
That's where the good high school player, I think, vibe feels like we can't get this guy.
Yeah.
And yesterday was the longest he's held on to the ball in any game in 5 years. So it's not like avoiding sacks looking. By just quick. No, it's that often that was the one piece of the Bills that I thought was totally lost in the preseason analysis of it. Was this going into the year looked like it was going to be the best offensive line he's ever had. And if you believe in Josh Allen, and I probably don't believe in him as much as, the biggest proponents in the media, but a great quarterback with a really good offensive line, that team has a very high floor.
Lions only lose their 2nd game of the year, and Goff throws for almost 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he's not panicking with the loss. Not so much. News today, David Montgomery out for the season with a knee injury.
I don't know that he's officially out for the season. Torn MCL.
Or indefinitely.
Indefinitely, certainly for the regular season.
Okay.
But yeah.
I took a little creative liberty.
You might be right. I just don't.
I'm saying indefinitely instead. And then in addition, here's everybody who's out on the defense, Brew.
Yeah.
3 guys.
3 new ones
yesterday. Now, two players are going to come back. I think Barnes could come back and Anzalone could come back maybe in January. But again, everything's a big question mark. So is it panic time in Detroit?
I do think it's panic time. I'm not writing them off, but the reason I say panic is because they've been so good this season that they are SBOB, and I mean win the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying they're going to break up the team, but it's Super Bowl or nothing for them. And I think the panic time is because of the injuries. It's not because, they've been figured out, they were fraudulent or whatever. If they don't win the Super Bowl, it's going to be a tough regular season to get through next year mentally, because you played so well and then you didn't get that trophy. And now kind of the regular season is just about, all right, let's get through it and get to the playoffs, and then that's when our season starts. So I think it is panic time solely because of the injuries. Defensively, for them to get to where they have been with all the injuries has been incredible. And now I do think it's starting to take its toll. I think you saw that yesterday. And then Montgomery, look, Jahmyr Gibbs is great. You know, he's the Sonic and Knuckles, but Knuckles is gone.
Yeah. It's brutal.
But, yeah, it's mainly defensively. I think the injury is going to be tough.
I should have had Hubs pull it. Maybe we can pull it for when we talk about this again later. All I can think about is Dan Campbell's press conference after the NFC Championship game when he says, I told the guys, we might never be back here.
Oh.
And it was very honest, and I respected it. It was kind of part of the Dan Campbell legend. But, like, this is one of the reasons why is because you can peak too early, which I think they did, and you also maybe they didn't peak too early. Maybe they were just that team that beat the Jags 52-6, and then injuries finally. You know what I mean? Bad injury luck.
So are you saying you think it's mainly the injuries?
No, I think at this point they are too far gone defensively with the injuries.
Yeah.
And even if I wanted to sell, don't panic, you can't win the coaches. This is the second straight week the coach has signaled to the whole world and his own team, I don't think the defense can get one stop. Yeah. And so we saw it with the fourth down decision that we talked about that I thought was reckless with very little upside. He then upped the ante on that with the onside kick with 12 minutes left, down 10 points. So Dan Campbell can say all he wants, no excuses, we got to do it. And again, I have such massive respect for the guy as a man and as a leader. But he is telling us, you do not think you have a championship caliber defense with those decisions. You're just flatly saying it, which, go ahead, Wild.
He might be right, though. That's the thing. I know everybody's ripping him,
right.
But you look at it like, all right, Josh Allen can't be stopped. Like, you're playing like Josh Allen can't be stopped. Like, yeah, we can't stop him. Here's the Lions' defense versus current playoff teams. They're just an average defense, so they're not a good defense. They're just literally totally average. Lions are averaging, give up 26 points. League average is 26. Yards are literally exactly the same. So I think
it's worse than that.
What?
Because some of those are earlier in the year. Yeah. When you have Hutchinson, when you have Anzalone, you know what I mean? They played the Bucs. They lost the game, held the Bucs to 20. Some of that's.
It's a wild play. I know it was a wild decision, but if they kick off, the Bills are going to score.
The Bills scored on all but 2 possessions, and one was a missed field goal. So they really only stopped them one time. So I think he is saying I can't trust this defense.
So, but that doesn't mean. Here's the thing. It's not often, but we all agree that even in this game, they demonstrated our offense kicks ass, right? Yeah. And I don't think any of us think David Montgomery loss means the offense is going to be terrible.
Gibbs is really good.
Right, Gibbs is really good. They still have all that. They still have their offensive linemen. So this is not Jared Goff's fault, okay? But the only way to win a Super Bowl with a middling to bad defense is have your quarterback be a superhero. We've only seen it done a few times, and it's the only way to do it, which is why I'm going to drop a banner for Goff and the Lions.
This better not be like.
No, it's not.
The guy had 500 yards.
The civilian's got to be a superhero.
No, that's not bad.
It's pretty good. What are
Look at those hands.
I mean, I don't know who.
He literally had 500 yards.
Correct. And that's why this is not.
This bit.
What?
We're gonna have a meeting.
Okay, I didn't put the hands on there. I don't know who's in charge of that.
No, you just told him to put the hands on.
No, I agree. Goff was superb yesterday.
Yeah.
Like everyone, I don't know, Hubs, if very quickly we can show Goff yesterday versus Allen a week ago. Like everyone said that game helped Josh Allen's MVP case, and this game also somehow ended Goff's MVP case.
Yeah.
Now, I know what Brew will say, throws 5 picks, they can win, throws 5 touchdowns, they lose. How valuable is he? But no,
it matters.
The point I'm making is this. He's got to be great.
Yeah.
Like that, and he has been excellent. Yeah. He's been excellent. Obviously, yesterday he played almost perfect football, and they still lost.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to be that superhero quarterback.
Burrow-esque.
Except with winning. Like Mahomes in 19. Because before the Chiefs built their defense,
Right.
that's what it's going to have to be.
Chiefs now 13-1 with a win over the Browns, but Mahomes hurt his ankle, listed as week to week. Nick, on Friday, you unfortunately had this prediction. Take a listen.
I would rather risk a loss than risk Mahomes dropping back 30 times. I will pick the Chiefs to win. I do not think it's going to be a pretty game, and I just want Mahomes to come out of this game not limping. That's all I care about. So my record of perfect Chiefs predictions stays true the whole way around. Go ahead.
Not great.
What?
It's just, are you worried about this?
No, not in the least. I should have been clarified there because I was worried about Patrick being hurt, and almost any injury would concern me, except for luckily this very specific one. Remember when we did the quarterback rankings, and what was number one? The best quarterback you can get is Mahomes on a bad ankle. That's what the ranking was, because the last time he suffered this exact injury, this is what he did. And by the way, that was the AFC Championship game and a Super Bowl that he played essentially perfectly. And so, listen, an MCL, a kneecap again, a shoulder, anything, nervous. Mahomes got the loosest ankles of any quarterback I've ever seen, and he knows how to deal with it. Also, the Chiefs, once again, blow a team out in the first half. They have everybody loved point differential. They have the best first half point differential the last month of any team in football by a mile. They then shockingly shut it down a bit, and games get closer. This one didn't get close, but Mahomes got dinged up.
Jameis tried his best.
Listen, that was the turnover thing.
I can't see Jameis beating.
I mean, Brew was right about it. But here's the thing. I know we have been doing the Chiefs concern trolling all year, and now there's actual theoretical concern because Mahomes is banged up. What's also true is they now, for the first time in quite some time, have the best record in football. And so the only one-loss team in the league, they stand alone. And yet, despite that, Wilds, they dropped in Super Bowl odds. They are now fourth best odds to win the Super Bowl. They are now second best odds to win their own conference, with a big gap between them and Buffalo, which is so maddening.
That's odd.
That's
an odd one.
Those should be, and I think you'll agree with me, Brew, the Chiefs' odds if they were 9-6 and one game up, or 9-6, one game up in the AFC West. If it's like, okay, they're going to win their division, that should be their floor for their odds. Instead, they're 13-1. That's where it is. So I'll drop a banner for these the worst 13-1 team in the league, also the only one. The most wins, the least respect in the league. Because they keep winning when other teams, we talk about the Bills being unbeatable except they lost a week ago. Talked about the Lions being unbeatable except they lost a day ago. The Chiefs find a way to win, and again, they drop in the odds, which is an outrage.
I'm concerned about, like, Mahomes. I'm not as confident as you. I mean, I don't think he should play this next game.
No.
Like, and it seems like there's a good chance he might play.
Vegas thinks he won't play, but I think there's a chance he plays.
Even if he can play, I mean, it's going to be sore and, damaged to some degree if he plays. So even if he could play, if he wants to play, which I'm sure he does, don't play him. Like, they got a 2-game cushion over the Bills. And Houston is second in the league in sacks. And I said this, Mahomes is taking too many shots. And even if it just wears him down a little bit, here's the most hits taken this season. He's number one. And then over the last 3 weeks, it's even worse. He's taken 35 hits. He didn't get sacked against Cleveland, but he took more than 10
Drew
hits.
Lock hadn't even played every game.
That's sad for Drew, and that speaks to the Giants. But my point is, you got a short week after that when you play on Wednesday on Christmas Day. So rest him. Nick, I would much rather, and I'm not saying they'll lose home field advantage, I'd much rather have him be as close to fully healthy as possible and go into the playoffs without home field advantage. They showed last year they can win on the road, than to play him just to kind of protect that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion he's not playing. Like, see you on Christmas, maybe.
So I don't think it's at all a foregone conclusion he's not playing, but I don't think he has to play. The Chiefs have the best record in football this year. They are either currently without or have been without for giant stretches. Their starting running back, their top 2 and 4th wide receiver, their 3rd, 4th, and 5th tight end, their top left tackle, their top 2 kickers, their number 2 corner, and their number 1 defensive end. And now they might be without their starting quarterback, and I think they can win that game against Houston without their starting quarterback because unlike so many of these other teams that it's okay, on paper it looks great, but if one thing goes wrong, we're screwed. They are truly the best team in the league, 1 through 53. And
because they got Mahomes?
No, because
I don't think they're the best team without him. Well, they are not the best team without him. Their defense isn't the best. It's been given up.
But Brew, I guess what I'm saying is, do you think they might have the best backup quarterback in the league? Because I do. And that's part of building your team, of course they can't win anything substantial without Mahomes. Could they win Saturday with Carson Wentz starting? Yeah.
Possibly. You can always win a game.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.